none of that's really the point. And I'm going to make the point brief, but this is the point. When you go through this kind of stuff, and he's in the desert, and the enemy has attacked him sore, and he's passed the test, there is something that happens to you when you've been in a real fight. And the fight is over. You think you're going to shout when the fight is over. You're not. Not this level of fight. When you go through this level of fight, you don't have nothing left to shout with. You ought to get the stats on the divorce rate of couples who have fought cancer or leukemia or dread diseases or had dead children. The divorce rate is astronomical. You say, how could you love me enough to fight all the way through the cancer or the death or the suicide and then not love me enough to stay? It's because you're empty. It's your drain. It's fatigue. It's emotional fatigue. It costs you so much to get out that you don't have anything left to live off of. I had enough energy to take us 40 years, but we spent it in 4. So many things hit us that now I'm empty, and you're hitting the ignition, but I'm out of gas. So Jesus is up against the ropes, and he is out of gas. How do you know he's out of gas? Because the moment he has emptied himself, fought the fight, overcome the hurdle, God said, go back to that. Yes, Lord. There are people in this room, you do not recognize the extent to which you have been under attack. If you would take a minute and look back over your life and look back at the stuff that has happened in your life, you have been in a wilderness. You have been through trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma, and you have become habitual in dealing with trauma until you have normalized trauma and you think it's okay. But the stuff you have been through is tough enough. You should have lost your mind. You should have went crazy. You should have had a nervous breakdown. You should have thrown in the towel. You should have blown your brains out. You could have committed suicide. Yet with little to no therapy, no encouragement, no help, you take no vacations, you go on no breaks, you get away at no time, you've never had a moment to recover, you've never had a chance to recuperate, you've never gotten over the death and the sickness and the trauma and the stillborns and the divorce and the crisis. You just keep standing up to stuff after stuff after stuff after stuff, and now you're empty and you don't have no gas, and you're saying, what's wrong with me? And you're ashamed to admit to anybody that you're tired because you're everybody's hero. And the Lord brought you here this morning because he gave me some. He gave me something to tell you. He gave me something to tell you. Stop being ashamed that you're tired. And stop being ashamed that you're empty. And stop being ashamed that you're up against the ropes. And stop being ashamed that you've run out of smiles, and you've run out of courage, and you've run out of strength. And he said, you don't have to perform, and you don't have to impress, and you don't have to stand up and smile and grin and parade around as if you were a machine. You have been punched and kicked and stabbed and rolled over. You've lost loved ones. You've gone through afflictions. You've faced crisis, and you have never stopped at any time to receive anything. Everybody in your life is pulling at you, draining from you, asking for more, 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 more. But God said that season in your life is me tell him, Jesus. Help me tell him, Jesus. Help me tell him, Jesus. Help me tell him, Jesus. God says, stop it. Stop beating on yourself because you can't get no more gas. Stop beating on yourself because you can't stand up like you used to. Stop beating on yourself. Take your boots off and your cape off and all your little Superman stuff off. You've been through enough. Test after test after test after test after test after test. Trial after trial after trial after trial. You've lived your life like you were a robot. Even Jesus came to the point that he was finally emptied out. And the Lord told me to tell you, the angels are coming. I don't know. I don't know. Woo. I don't know who I'm preaching to. I don't know who's up against the ropes. I don't know who's out of gas. I don't know who's come to the limit you can't take anymore. All I know is that all day long, God's been talking to me in my house, giving me this word for somebody. The angels are coming. They're coming to get you. They're coming to minister to you. They're coming to strengthen you. They're coming to put back in you. They're not coming to take nothing from you. They're coming to give you something back. And you ought to lift your hands and open your mouth and thank God for angels on the way. I want to preach a shouting message, but it kind of feels like a crying message. But I need you to help me get word to somebody who's about to die, about to faint, about to collapse. Would you just touch 2 or 3 people and tell them the angels are coming? They're coming. The angels are coming. The angels are coming. The angels are coming. The angels are coming. Don't die. Don't die. Don't die. The angels are coming. Don't quit. Don't collapse. Don't commit suicide. Don't faint. The angels are coming. God's going to restore you. God's going to renew you. God's going to revive you. It was just a test. The test is over. 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 Somebody take about 60 seconds and find a way to praise, to magnify, to bless, to release, to encourage, to lift up the name of who am I preaching to? I'm out of time. I've got to stop there. But